Hey guys, it's Julia, and today I am doing a really big book haul. I am combining my December books that I got with my January books that I got, and all together those two cumulatively created 18 books. I think that's the most books I've ever had in a book haul ever, and I don't know how to feel about it. But I have a lot of books to get through, so I'm just going to get right into it. So I'm going to start off with my books that aren't like novels, because I got a couple books that aren't novels. The first two things that I got were coloring books. Now, as some of you probably know, coloring books are like the really big thing right now, and at first I was really skeptical of them. I'm like, oh, whatever, coloring, like, I mean, it's fine, but it's not really for me. But then for Christmas, I got the Doctor Who coloring book, and as you guys probably know, I'm obsessed with Doctor Who. I haven't colored a lot of it, as you saw, none of that was colored. I think I have like one page that's like partially colored, it's just a bunch of adipose, but still, it makes me so happy. So then later, I also got Tropical World by Millie Marotta, a coloring book adventure. And this one I love as well. It's all these like tropical pictures, very detailed, very intricate. I'm currently coloring a pineapple, but honestly these coloring books are ridiculously relaxing. I like to color like at night when I'm just sleepy and want to go to bed but I don't want to read a book. I'll just turn on some like music and color for a bit, and it honestly calms me down so much. Holy crap, I love it. The next book that I got that wasn't normal novel was Oh She Glows, Vegan Recipes to Glow from the Inside Out by Angela Liddon. I'm not sure why I bought this book. I heard a lot of good things about this book from the people who shop at the bookstore I work at. It looks really good. I'm not even vegan. Like, the longer I think about it, I'm like, why did I actually get this book? This will introduce me to newer, like, substitutes for things that I eat a lot, like a lot of carbs, like a lot of pasta. I eat a lot of pasta. Now we are moving on to the actual novels that I have. I have quite a few, and I didn't mean to get this many, but it just kind of like happened like after my November book ban. The thing with book bans is like you can go downhill real quick after that, because you're like, oh, I haven't bought books, I can justify buying a bunch of books, and I guess that's what I did. But we're just gonna go with it and just continue on. But we are gonna start out with my books that I got in December, and then we'll move on to ones I got in January. Obviously, that's how this whole thing is gonna roll. The first book that I got in December is Forgive Me, Leonard Peacock by Matthew Quick, and this was actually one of my favorite books that I read last year. This book is super like dark and deep, but it's a really important book, I think. It hits on a lot of really tough subjects. It's from the mind of a suicidal teenager, and it really draws you in, and kind of, it's terrifying, and sometimes you don't know if you want to continue reading, but you have to because they've sucked you in so much, and it's just a totally different book than anything I've ever read before. So the next book that I bought in January was Binge by Tyler Oakley, which I'm obsessed with the fact that this book is like white and then has like this blue writing. Like, this is a beautiful book, naked. Binge is Tyler Oakley's kind of collection of essays and stories, and it was a lot more serious than I was expecting, just because Tyler online is so happy and funny and quirky, and obviously so much of his personality shines through in this book. However, he does talk about his like eating disorder and his kind of whole experience with coming out and things like that, and his relationships with some people in his life that weren't that great, and the way it was written was just so heartfelt, and kind of, it made me appreciate Tyler Oakley in a whole different way than just as this funny kind of like YouTube person. He seems very sincere, and you can really tell that he poured his heart out into this book. The next book that I have is The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I have wanted to get this book since I saw Emma talking about it on her channel, and then I finally got it, and Then I realized I didn't know that much about it. What I do know is there's a lot about the FBI and like crime solving, and it's forensics in YA. You don't see a whole lot of forensics in YA, I find, and it's cool because it's like a bunch of teenagers with really cool kind of abilities, and they're being used to solve these FBI level crimes. The next book that I have is Love Letters to the Dead by Ava Delaria. This book has a blurb from Stephen Chbosky on the front, which automatically sucks me in because Stephen Chbosky wrote The Perks of Being a Wallflower, which is like my favorite book of all time. And then my friend Sally at school recommended it to me as well, so I'm like, oh girl, I gotta pick this up. This book is about a girl who writes love letters to the dead. Then she starts kind of using writing as an outlet to write about some other spooky stuff. I picked it up because people seem to like it, and it has a really pretty cover, and oh my god, I need to stop buying books. The next book that I have is My Heart and Other Black Holes by Jasmine Wagner, and this book has interested me since I saw it, and I think it was just one of the Just See the Readers videos. It just sounded really cool and kind of dark and creepy, and I love the cover. I mean, can we like talk about this like beautiful cover? And it's like has like this stitching kind of texture on the front. I like this cover. This book is about a girl who's like obsessed with death and obsessed with planning her own death, and she makes a suicide pact with another boy who has kind of like the same thoughts as her. If you haven't caught on, I like creepy books with subject matter that's very real and very kind of raw, I guess. So this book is right up my alley, and I'm very excited to read this one. The last book that I bought in December is Half Bad by Sally Green, which I got for $5.99 because it was on sale. The only thing I know about this book is that there's magic in it, and I like magic, so I got it. And yeah. Now we're moving on into January, which is obviously this month. So the first books that I bought this month were basically all of Alexandra Bracken's books. The first books that I bought in January were the Darkest Minds trilogy by Alexandra Bracken. I have actually read The Darkest Minds, and I read it about a year ago, and I remember like not being able to get into it at first, but then all of a sudden I got so into it and I was obsessed with it. And then I just didn't get the second one because at the library at the time someone had it out, and I was just too impatient to go back to the library and look for it, so I didn't. And I didn't continue, which makes me really mad because I really liked this series and I want to know how it continues and how it finishes. So yeah, I just picked up all three of them, so now I have no excuse to not read the rest of the series because I have all of them here. If you didn't know, The Darkest Minds is about this spooky child who gets spooky powers and whose parents think she's too spooky, and then they get sent away, and that's all I remember. And obviously, continuing on with the Alex Bracken theme, I picked up her newest book, Passenger, which has been getting so hyped up on every social media platform I take part on. And I mean, it's about time travel, and I've never read a time travel novel, but I watched Doctor Who, which is like all time travel, and I'm really psyched. Apparently in this book, people travel across centuries and continents, and that's really cool. And I like this front cover with like this bottle with like New York City in it. I'm like, are they traveling in a bottle? Next, we have The Infinite Sea by Rick Yancey, which is the sequel to The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey. I read The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey this month because I wanted to go see the movie, which I thought was good. I loved the book, so I picked up the next book, but I'm kind of wary about reading it because everyone says that the first book is a lot better, and I don't really want to ruin my image of it, and it's so small! The next book that I got was Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard, which I'm so late on the bandwagon for, along with most of the rest of these books in this book haul. All the books that I ever get, I'm always really late on the bandwagon for, like every single time. I'm just like, I haven't read these books and people read these books like 10 years ago. Basically, this high fantasy book about kind of society that is separated by blood, and like red blood like sucks and silver blood is the highest of the high, and then apparently this person who has like red blood somehow makes their way up to the palace with the silver bloods, and stuff happens. I have been liking fantasy a lot lately as well, so I think this book would make a really good pick for me to read. The next book that I have is The Legends of Ishilda by Doctor Who, BBC. Basically, this book is a spoiler for the entirety of Series 9 of Doctor Who, so if you don't want to know the premise of Series 9 of Doctor Who, maybe mute this video until you see this book disappear from my hands. Basically, this book is about Ishilda, who is this girl from a Viking village that the doctors saved her life by making her immortal. So since she's immortal, but she has a regular human's mind, she cannot keep track of everything that's happened to her in her immortal life. So she keeps a bunch of journals with all her adventures and all the things that have happened to her. And in this book are just a couple of her adventures that she's had. And I'm really excited to read this because I love the character of Ishilda and I loved the whole storyline around her. The next book that I have is November 9th by Colleen Hoover, and this is my first ever Colleen Hoover book. I've heard about this book is there are two people that meet, and the boy, Ben, believes that the girl, Fallon, would be the perfect subject for his novel that he is writing, but as they continue to grow their relationship and things like that, Fallon begins to wonder if Ben's just kind of creating this setting for his book or if he's telling the truth. And I wanted to pick this book off not only because it's Colleen Hoover and I've heard amazing things about Colleen Hoover, but just because I really wanted a romance to read during February, because obviously February has Valentine's Day in it and I am single AF. And I'm just gonna stay at home and eat chocolates on Valentine's Day. So I thought it'd be nice to have a little Valentine's Day read. And the last book in this huge book haul that's gonna take me 10 hours to edit is The Siren by Kira Cass, which I just got today and I'm so excited about it because it's a beautiful cover. The selection, only there's a C in the background because it's not about the selection anymore. It's about a whole different storyline. Siren is about this girl who becomes a siren and she's living her little siren lifestyle until she meets this one boy that she's supposed to save and she falls in love with him, but that's against the siren code of conduct and stuff ensues. And that's all I really know, but I'm really excited because I really like Kira Cass's books, aka The Selection. They're just kind of this fun little, kind of pretty predictable, but a fun little read. And her covers are gorgeous, and hair goals, dress goals, font goals, ocean goals. I hope you guys enjoyed this book haul. Leave a comment down below if you saw any books that you want to read or you like to read. And I love you guys very much, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!